It is very interesting to watch young toddlers grow up. They fall, they rise, again they fall, and sometimes there's a happiness on their face, sometimes a tear in the eye. And it is mere observance that teaches them what is the way forward. Watch young girls playing. What do? They imitate what they have heard, what they have seen. And this is so intuitive in us that it becomes a pattern of our life. And it grows into adulthood, into childhood. There are very few, if any at all, who stop and think, why am I doing what I am doing? Is it what I should be doing? I think the socialization process is so engraved within us and built into our system that we cannot even dream of another way. We are part of a system, and that system tells us how we should be and what we should do. There are many practices among these sisters and women. Preference for the boy child. Being very empowered women, I know. But when it comes to making a decision, it is always the boy that takes preference. When a mother is sick at her bedside, she's looking for a son. So what we were told at home, what we were told in school, girls should not laugh, girls should not be heard. This is a practice that is being handed down from generations to generation. Though the preference for the boy is slowly decreasing due to share of ancestral property with the boy and the girl, yet there is a long journey we have to accomplish. Somehow we women are responsible for what is happening, for the imbalance in favoring one child to the other. This is engraved deep into our hearts, and no one can change this except we women. We have to take the stand to ask ourselves, what are we doing? It is again a woman's prerogative to decide how a woman should behave, where she should go, what she should do. And this is handed over to our young girls, to our daughters. So instead of being companions and showing them the way forward, we tell them, this is what you are supposed to do. This is where you are supposed to go. And so we become enslaved to practices which are becoming more and more difficult for women to move ahead. And yet if you look at Jesus, the way he led and dealt with women, whether it is the woman caught in adultery, whether it is Samaritan woman, Jesus went beyond the law. The laws are only a means to attain an end. But in our practice of daily living, the laws become so imperative that it takes away one's freedom and we become enslaved to practices. Often when we ask women, why do you do what you do? They have no answer. They say, it is handed down to us from generation to generation. So who's going to free us from this? Who's going to give us the freedom that we require as women? I believe it is we women who need to make the way forward. We have to look at our practices. Very often when you look at religion, and I want to emphasize this, it is more of piety and less of spirituality. So we can feel very comfortable with pious practices because it makes us feel good. But we do not have the essence of religion, which is a deep spirituality. What we really need to do is to take time off, to sit in silence and listen to that inner voice that tells us, that strengthens us to break the fetters that are making us slaves and to move ahead to bring about a new change. If we want this to happen for our daughters and our sisters, we have to look at our own lives and see, what are my practices? Why do I do what I do? What is religion for me? Is it a deep communion with the person of Jesus? Or is it simply a ritualistic practice that I do? So these are the practices that we are called to reflect. When I look and reflect at the dominance of women or men, it is this whole power sharing, the power that become better than the other to control the other. And then what are we talking about when we say we are all children of the same one Father? When we lord it over each other and we make others less of a person because we are in power and in authority. But that is not what Jesus did. Jesus came to give us a new way of life, the power to serve, the power to love. And it is within us women to be using this gift that God has given us to love without counting the cost, to serve to the utmost. It doesn't mean that it is servitude. It means that we are following the pattern of Jesus. When I look at the women around, especially the women, grassroots women with whom I work, they are so free. They stand with their heads held high and they have nothing to be ashamed of. They can speak what they want. That is the dignity that Jesus came to restore. That each one of us is a child of God. And I pray that we women will be the ones to usher in a new age, a new era, where we will be partners together, taking people along with us, but giving us the freedom that Jesus came to give us when he walked this earth.